Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's up, everybody? Friday Face-Off in the house. Sorry, that was just terrible. But we got a Friday Face-Off today. We're going to pick a topic. It might be a little controversial in the hockey world. Might not be. But Fax and I are going to bat it around. We love these little 10-minute hits, guys. We love these 10-minute hits. And thank you so much. Like, we get so much great feedback on these 10-minute episodes. And we just appreciate it. So here we go. Friday Face-Off today. You're going to love this one, Jeffrey. I got this. This is a listener. This is a listener question here. Listener question, Friday Face-Off, and it's all about recovery. It's all about recovery and the importance of recovery. And okay, I'll just get on my soapbox for a tiny bit here, right? So we treat these kids like pros at way too young of an age. And you're seeing this just rise in overuse injuries. And I know people in your world, something that you guys are talking about big time is recovery and how much load to put on kids, how much they need to rest and recover, stuff like that. And so I would love to ask you, as the strength coach, as somebody who is really versed in this stuff, how do you think about recovery? How much is too much when it comes to on ice, off ice? What's the balance that you think kids, and obviously this is age appropriate, right? So I'll have you kind of go through the different phases of that. But just talk to us a little bit about the importance of recovery, how you talk about it, how you educate people on it, and how we can implement that into today's kind of crazy youth hockey landscape.
Well, we're specifically talking about youth hockey. I mean, I think we got to play less games. Kids recover way faster than older players. There's no doubt about that. So, as far as like recovery, as long as you're not being an idiot and you're skating 3-4 times a day and doing work. I mean, and that sounds, that's ridiculous. No, I'll have kids come to me and I'm like, I can tell that they're tired. I'm like, what have you done today? And they're like, I had a kid yesterday. He's like, his hamstring started cramping. So it's talking about his day. What have you done today? Well, I skated for 2 hours and then I got off the ice and then I went over here and I skated for an hour and then I came here this afternoon. And I'm like, what are you doing? That is way too much. But for the most part, younger players, they can go pretty hard, but you just got to go smart, right? Like, after 1 hour of skating, what else can you be doing? Unless you're at a hockey camp and it's like a special thing. More is not better. Better is better. Go have them do a different activity. You don't need to do the same activity over and over and over every single day for 3 straight hours. Play other sports, go swimming, something that's easy on your joints. But like I said, kids, they can rip around pretty hard and they're gonna recover as long as they're not doing the same thing year round over and over and over, which unfortunately in hockey is something that we are seeing more and more of. Players only playing hockey year round, multiple teams, skills coaches, skating coaches. If you're just doing the same movement patterns over and over and over and over, and they're not like natural movement patterns like walking, if skating is not natural, that's where you're going to get your body to break down a lot sooner. So for younger players, as long as they're not skating multiple hours a day every single day of the week, they're going to be okay. They're resilient, but we want to get them moving in different patterns. We want to get them moving outside of the same movements over and over and over. That's one of the reasons multi-sports is so important for younger athletes, that they're going to be moving their body in different planes of motion, their hips are moving differently. They're not the same pattern over and over and over again. For older players, especially goalies, talk about goalies, you got to get off the ice. Goalies, more than any other position, you have to get off the ice. The butterfly is not a natural position, dropping down with your knees in, your feet out, your hips contorting, the rotating, the explosive stretches that happen when you're battling on plays. You do that all season, you have to take time off the ice. I don't care what your goalie coach tells you. You don't need to go to a goalie camp a week after the season ends, 2 weeks after the season ends. You don't need to be doing goalie camps week after week in the off season. It's not good for your body. Now, if you're going to individualized goalie sessions and your goalie coach is having you do things in the beginning of the off season where you're not murdering your hips and you're going post to post to post to post over and over and over, that's okay. So like my older guys, when they get on the ice in the summer for the first few weeks, they're only with their goalie coach and they're doing like skating drills. They're doing like really simple drills where it's about angles and things like that. They're not getting back on the ice and going right into like practice mode where they're taking 100, 200 shots up, down, over. They're coming back into it in a smart way. And so those are things you just got to be thinking about is like, if you're doing the same thing over and over and over, let's get you doing some other things so your body works on its weaknesses, works on different movement patterns, and isn't just using those same joints until exhaustion.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Hence the term overuse injury. If you overuse and you're doing the same thing all the time, especially if you're not recovering properly, you're putting yourself at a huge maximum risk of getting hurt at the end of the day.
And talking about like recovering, part of like recovering is building your muscles up, get in the gym. And if you're a young player, if you're a parent, there's so many free resources now. Like if you YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, like all these things. I mean, there's obviously books. There's so many ways you can read up very quickly from an expert in the field about things you can do. But if you're a younger player, simply, do some hill sprints, do some short sprints, do some walking lunges, do some body weight squats, lateral lunges, push-ups, pull-ups, inverted rows. If you just do those 8 things I said right there, you're going to feel better. You're going to move better. You're strengthening all these muscles. You're protecting your joints and things like that when you come back to the ice, you're going to be better.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the coolest thing about that too, like you mentioned YouTube. I mean, obviously you have your program that's ridiculously cheap that people should be using. But even if you can't or, don't have a smartphone for apps or for whatever, like YouTube's free. There's so much stuff on YouTube. Like you can do whatever you want for free nowadays. Well, let me ask you this, because we only got 10 minutes here. So this question was kind of tailored towards younger players, but I'll ask for maybe a little bit the older. But I know for me, even today, but the best I ever felt going into a season was in between my last year college and going into my first year pro. And we lifted like football players at Cornell. So body was, I was physically fit, but ready to get it just torn. But I did yoga 3 times a week. Going into my first pro season, and I never went into a season feeling better. Can you talk about maybe some of the non-traditional type stuff like yoga and breathing? And Pilates. I know you're really big on those kinds of things too. So how can maybe we incorporate, and I know when I've talked to you about doing yoga, you're like, yeah, yoga's good, but you got to be doing other things too. So just talk a little bit about just maybe those Pilates, yoga, breathing, non-traditional maybe type stuff.
Right. I mean, I would say Pilates is one of the best things you can do. The tough part is like with yoga and with Pilates, like, who are you going to? And obviously
it's the same for everything. Skills.
It is the same for everything. Because if you
coaching.
You're coaching, you go to some random personal trainer that has no idea what they're doing, especially like dealing with athletes and what they need and things like that. It's way different than if you're coming to somebody like me or Brian Gallivan or Matt Nickel or somebody like that, right? It's the same thing with like yoga. Like with yoga, if you can find somebody who works with athletes, it's probably going to be a lot better and a lot more tailored to what they need versus an 80-year-old who's just going in there to sweat and have some time under tension and stretches and things like that. Pilates is unbelievable. Like my dream training center has a massive room that's got 20 Pilates reformers. and that's something that we'd probably be doing 2 days a week. We'd probably start sessions with Pilates.
No kidding.
You're strengthening at lengthened positions. You're strengthening around the joints. You're getting deep into the hips. It's a lot of nipples to knees, which is the most important part for hockey players to work on, is what's going on between your nipples and knees. If you can strengthen and get more mobility there and strength at length and all these things and be comfortable getting to deeper positions, you are going to be a better skater. You're going to be more injury resilient. Doesn't mean you won't get injured. We can't mitigate all injuries, obviously, but it's going to help you a ton. And I don't care what type of athlete you are. If you're doing Pilates with somebody who really knows what they're doing, it's going to help you a ton. So I would say definitely look into Pilates. Things like swimming, super nice for the joints. Even like chiropractic care with like a functional sports medicine doctor, like my boy, Dr. Tony Katakis. If you follow him on Instagram, or STL Sports Clinic, not just some random guy who's just popping you 3 times and you get off the table. Somebody who's really getting in there and like working on the things that you need to work on specifically and individually, it will move the needle a ton. I would say those are all some really big things that will help a lot.
Love it. All right, man. That's perfect timing. Time's up. Share the show. Although we should also say really quickly, we don't have to get into it. Eat good food and hydrate. I think that's probably really important for recovery too. But time's up, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for the listener question. Share the show. Woo.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.